Hey everyone, welcome and welcome back to my channel. First thing first, I want to say thank you to everyone who supports my channel. If you do not know, I am a single mommy of 3 little ones and I work 2 jobs. So when y'all like my content, when y'all comment, when y'all subscribe, that gives me an extra energy of boost to stay motivated. So again, kudos to y'all. Thank you to everyone who supports me. So today we are going to watch a very interesting story of this woman who was married and her husband was cheating on her. Her grandma showed her this by her dreaming and her basically showing her a vision. It's like she astral projected from her words. And she saw a vision of her husband messing with somebody. So y'all are going to see the details of that. Everything turned out to be true in her vision. And after she tells the story, there's going to be some clips of the after effects, extra details surrounding the story, and she is something else, y'all. Wait till y'all see what she done after all this took place. But she did not speak on those clips. She just added words on her TikTok, so you're gonna have to read it. Now, I did slow it down, and then I will be back towards the end. I hope you guys enjoy.
My deceased grandmother came to me in a dream and showed me that my husband was cheating. I remember my husband was about to leave the house. So this particular night I was extremely sleepy and I hadn't got much rest. I remember my husband was about to leave the house and for some reason I was overwhelmed with thankfulness, saying that I love him, I love him, I love him. So I told him, I love you so much. Something about saying I love you so much always did something in the relationships that I've had with men. When I say I love you so much, within 24 hours, there's something that I find out about the man that would stop me from loving him so much. I said, I love you so much. And he responded back, I love you too. In the dream, I was walking up the steps of the house that I grew up in. I grew up with my grandmother. I knew I was in a familiar place, but I also knew that I had stepped into a past place, and it was scary. In this dream, when I made it in the house, she be quiet. Be quiet, Nada, be quiet. I knew it was her voice, but I couldn't see her. So she walked me to the back in the room that I grew up in. And I stood there and I looked around, and in the dream I was wondering why was I there. But then I heard his ex's voice and I heard him laugh. He walked into the living room and she was on the floor performing. She was on her hands and knees. She was twerking and bouncing and sliding up and down the floor. I was standing right over her and she didn't see me. It was like I was a spirit. I looked up and I saw him. He was smiling, talking about how good she looked. And yeah, baby, yeah, like that, like that. She was laughing and she was saying, you like this? I could see my grandmother appear. My grandmother said, I love you so much. That was the same exact thing that I had told him before he left the house that night. I trusted that I was the only woman in his life and the only one that he would love for life, but it was a lie. My grandmother had me stand there and watch, and she just kept saying, Nada, watch. I continued to watch him and his ex. She got on her knees, unzipped his pants. She said to him, do your woman do it like this? And he smiled and he chuckled and his chest poked out. With arrogance, he continued to allow her to please him. And I watched. And my grandmother continued to say, Nada, I love you so much. He held her up against the wall, right there in front of me. My heart was racing. I could then feel my grandmother wrapping her arms around me, even though I could only see her silhouette. And she held me and she said it one more time. She said, Nada, I love you so much. I woke up from the dream. 2 days later, I questioned him. He began to stutter and fluster over his words. After first, he remained quiet for a while. I said, when was the last time you saw your ex? And he was like, nah, none of that's going on, none of that's going on. Truth was, all of that was going on. I then told him, when we got in this relationship, I asked you, were you done? And you advised me that you were. You said that there was nothing back there for you. Anything in your past was already gone and you would not return to your vomit. But yet, I feel like you may have. So what I'm saying to you is any game that you play, you will always be exposed because I prayed before I moved on into another relationship that all of the things that happened in the past would not repeat themselves, especially without me knowing. And when I knew I would have the strength to walk away from what was old, One thing about spirits is they travel. And another thing about a spirit is they are familiar. So come to find out, he was cheating with his ex. Not only had he cheated with his ex, but he had also made a baby with her. Part 2. My grandma allowed me to experience astral projection, which is a supernatural phenomenon, also known as spiritual travel. It's an experience where one leaves the body and is able to travel the universe in real time. That explains why I was so sleepy that day. It was somewhere that she wanted to take me. I had this dream on the weekend and I went to work on Monday morning. He worked nights. I had talked to him before I clocked into work that day, and he said that he was about to go to sleep. We lived on the other side of town, about an hour away. There was something that happened and quickened in me while I was working that day. I could not rest. Something kept telling me to go and wash my car. There was a car wash about 14 minutes away from my job. I didn't understand it. Usually I did not take lunch breaks. For some reason, this particular day, I could not rest. I did need to wash my car, and it had been a week or so that I had put it off because of rain, but I was obedient. I got up, I locked the computer after clocking out, and I drove to that car wash. When I was pulling up to the car wash, I looked at the parking lot next to it, which was a pizza place, and there was my husband's car. I didn't know him to be in that area previously for any reason, and for him to be in the pizza parking lot that he was in was very strange. Nervousness immediately began to overtake me. My heart was racing. I stared at the car, but no one was in there, so I thought maybe he was in the pizza place, but he wasn't. My emotions were on high. I sat in the car for a few minutes so that I can calm down. I pulled out from the vacuum space and I drove into the parking lot, the pizza parking lot, to see if he would come out of the door. But he didn't come out of the door, and I looked through the parking lot. There was a Jeep parked right next to his car. He was in the passenger side and she was on the driver's side. He looked to his right and saw me, and it looked like he had seen a ghost. At this time, I had never seen this ex. I had simply heard her voice because she found my number and called me one day. He wound the window down and immediately said, "That's my cousin," and said, "Get out of the car. Get out." The only thing that I said to him was, "I'll always know." The next morning, I woke up to an inbox message on Facebook. It was his ex. Part 3. So the inbox message on Facebook read, "I need your address because apparently his mama is playing games with me. His mama was supposed to give me your address so that he can be served with paternity test request papers along with child support. I was his sneaky link for far too long, I guess. I just had a baby in November. I've been quiet long enough. You walking around thinking somebody want him. Nobody want him. He cheated on you your entire engagement. I don't want him. He good for nothing." Silence is golden. I didn't respond to her, and it drove her crazy. So suddenly I started getting messages under my videos from fake pages. "Ma'am, I didn't help you locate him to sneaky link with him. I'm not helping you to locate him to serve no papers." Lo and behold, about 2 weeks later, I heard a knock on the door. He was at work. It was the police, serving papers. Guess who gave her my address? You got it. It was his mama. At that time, we were living in a mobile home that I had paid off prior to us getting married, so I owned it. It was 100% in my name. I had been trying to sell that mobile home after the 100-year flood caused me to have to move to a parish that I did not want to be in. Ironically, that same week, I got a message from a lady that said that she had the cash money and she wanted to purchase the mobile home on the spot. We scheduled a time and date with the movers to have the mobile home moved, and while he was at work, I moved the whole house. This is what TikTok didn't see after I found out he was cheating on me. I sold the whole house while he was at work and had it moved while he was gone. When he came home, he was lost, but I was nowhere to be found. I had changed my phone number and went no contact up until this day. He didn't want his home, and he didn't like his family, and he forgot to tell me, y'all. So I forgot to tell him that while I knew he was cheating,
I built a new house, and he couldn't live in it.
told y'all she's something else. Yeah, this story was quite entertaining. I cannot lie. But one thing I like about it and that I've noticed from her is it seems like she stays positive, and it seems like that she tries to look at the bigger picture and not let things hold her back. It seems like she overcomes things. And because of that, I believe that's why she receives blessings in her life. Like, as y'all see right now, she seems truly happy. Like, this is her new husband. He's proposing to her. It looks like in front of her children. And, you know, she seems truly and genuinely happy. And kudos to her for that, because it's not easy to remain positive when you go through certain obstacles like this, especially to somebody who said vows with you and promised to not do you wrong. Now, there's a lot to cover, so let me go ahead and try to sum it up. Now, when I first watched this video, I really thought this whole time they were talking about one person. Baby, this man has multiple mistresses, sir. He has multiple mistresses. But the ones that she was talking about in regards to this video is the ex, and he had a mistress of 23 years that it seems like he was more in a relationship with than his wife. But basically, if you did not get to read some of the text or understood some of the text, you know, she found out. Her grandma showed her, and I don't know if y'all believe in that stuff, but I highly believe in it. Like, I've had similar experiences when my grandma passed. She took me to her house and we just had a conversation and stuff, and it felt so real. Even the hug felt like a real deal hug. When I woke up, I cried, like, seriously. So I believe in all that, and I love me a good supernatural story. But, you know, her grandma took her to the place that she grew up in, and she showed her that vision. Like, she had an astral projection experience, from her words, to where she saw, you know, her ex-husband messing with his ex. You know, that was his apparently sneaky link. Okay. Now, the sneaky link, the ex ended up getting pregnant. And it's so funny because she ended up stepping up and dang near being what her ex-husband should have been. Like, the girl that went to the hospital and had the baby. Here she go. She went up to the hospital, and I guess she got a cabin outside of the city so that, like, just in case he came, she wouldn't run into him. But I guess he never ended up coming to the hospital, even though the girl was telling him he needed to come up there, see his son, etc. Now, unfortunately, you know, the baby didn't make it. I don't know if the baby had some type of chronic, like, illness, maybe. Well, it wouldn't be chronic depending on how old the baby was, but he probably maybe had an illness or some type of disease, and he had to get surgery, but he didn't make it, which is really sad. It's really disheartening, because the situation is not good, but the baby's innocent in this. So that's just really sad to me. It's really sad. But she didn't showed up for the baby. She didn't went to the funeral. And again, I guess morally, spiritually, some might argue, but it might be the right thing to do. You know, some women might find that kind of hard to do, but it looks like she did it. You know what I mean? Then she done gave the woman Mother's Day gifts, birthday gifts. She said they actually became pretty close. I'm like, girl, you is something else, because I do not know a lot of women who would do that, including myself. I just would probably keep it at what it was. Like, I ain't gotta hate the baby, obviously, but if you knew that he was married and you was messing with him, like, girl, we'll never be friends. Like, that's weird to me. But yeah, the baby's innocent in it though, so I would still probably do the right thing for the child and make, you know, in regards to that situation. But us being friends and me staying with him and all that, like, no, but you need to do the right thing for your child, because you decided to make that child. So I would make him stand on that, but we wouldn't be together, but I would tell him about himself. But yeah, so apparently that's what happened. Now, the reason he did not come to the hospital and support the baby in the funeral and all that is because he had a mistress of 23 years that apparently he was committed to. And I'm like, damn, so you said F your wife. Like, you don't even care about the wife. It's just like, oh, I want to make sure my mistress ain't upset and sad about it. But F the wife. Like, this is beyond me. Like, that is crazy. And she even has a video of the mistress on her TikTok page. So if y'all go to her TikTok page, she has more in-depth videos. I couldn't include all of them because they all had music. A lot of the after videos had music, so I couldn't include them. But y'all can go on there and take a look if you want. But I guess apparently the mistress delivered a package to her house, because I guess she worked for Amazon or something. She delivered a package to her house and she realized it was her. So it's so funny. But yeah, he had multiple mistresses, and that's just beyond me. Now, some things to look for and that we can learn from is that you really do have to court these men. Just like these men are courting you, you need to be, I don't know if the necessary word is court, but like you need to vet these men. You need to kind of see like, okay, what was your past relationship history? Of course, do you have kids or not? How is your relationship specifically with the mothers? Pay attention to how these men speak about their exes. Like I've noticed that when she was describing like about the story, she said, you know, I asked you, were you done? You said anything in your past was done and you won't return to your vomit. And I noticed that like when she was saying that, I'm like, okay, so how long was the relationship between him and his ex? How long was the breakup between him and his ex before he met you? And how much or often did he talk about his ex? These are things to pay attention to, because if he just broke up with his ex, it's only been like a couple months, three, even maybe 3 months, 4 months, whatever. It might not be time yet for him to start pursuing a relationship. Now, everybody heals different, so I can't for sure say one timeline is better than the other, but in my opinion, maybe like 6 months and up, or around 6 months and up, but it all depends on him. Men tend to leave the relationship first physically, and women leave first emotionally. A woman can still be in the physical household with her man, but emotionally left the relationship years ago. She's not attracted to him. She don't want to kiss him. She don't want to have sex with him. She just done emotionally, but she's still physically there for the kids and stuff. A man will physically leave first. So he'll just be like, you know what, F it. He'll go cheat. He'll go do this, go do that. But then once they do break up and decide to physically be apart, then emotionally he like, dang, I'm not over this person. Like, I never really dealt with his emotions, because men don't like to deal with their emotions. They just like to run. A lot of them who are not healed and mature, they'll just run out and go cheat or go move in with the next one and start a whole toxic cycle with somebody else, not even healing from the last trauma and pain that their first relationship caused them. Now, of course, that's not for every situation, but I've noticed that happens a lot. If you pay attention to all these love songs that these men make and how it's a lot of narcissists in this world, a lot of exes who be like, they'll move on. They done moved on to about multiple women, had other kids and all that. But as soon as the ex that he was with, that had his heart moved on, he feels some kind of way. Like, sir, you didn't had all these other women. You didn't deal with all these other women, but you feel some kind of way once I move on. It's because they emotionally don't deal with that pain. They just physically move on. So, and a lot of times women will do the right thing. We'll stop. We'll look at our emotions. We'll gather that together, and then we'll move on. That's why we can successfully move on, in my opinion, better. It seems like a lot of men aren't going to talk about these things and admit like, I still love my ex, or I still wasn't ready for my ex to move on. A lot of times they're just not going to admit these things. So, you know, that's how I feel. Like, ladies, vet these men, pay attention to how he talks about his ex. If he's constantly bashing his ex, then he's probably still emotionally tied to his ex. And of course, if the love was real between you and somebody, of course, like, you're still gonna love that person. You're still going to care for that person. Hopefully wish the best for that person, but you should not be constantly bashing them, constantly talking down on them, constantly doing all that, because that's going to make me think that you still are in love with this person, because there's no reason in the world you should still be actively dealing with your ex to the point she didn't even got pregnant. Like, so you really don't give a dang. You didn't have sex with her unprotected and everything. Also, I just want to point out a good lesson to learn as well is, please don't let these situations break you. I don't care how long you've been with this person. I don't care what y'all have tied together, children, properties, businesses, whatever. Don't let a situation break you. Please don't. Like, again, like I said, she still, it seems like, was operating in a high vibration to where she still was good-spirited, still good-hearted. Please still operate that way. Like, if you stay in a low vibration, then low vibrations will continue to attract to you like a magnet. And low vibrational people will attract to you like a magnet. Work on yourself. The best way to date is when you are in your highest vibration. You want to first work on yourself. Look at why the relationship went downhill. What did I accept that I shouldn't have accepted? What red flags did I let slide that I shouldn't have let slide? Like, you want to first analyze that. Then you want to take some time and tap into your spiritual self. Start your healing journey. Work on yourself. Exercise. Get your money up. Like, go back to the passions, things that you were passionate about that you maybe have lost in the relationship. Go back to that. I promise you, you have a better outcome when you do that and work on yourself and get yourself vibrationally to the highest that you can, than not doing no work at all and just moving on to the next person, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to attract the same cycle because you did not properly heal from it. Because I'm telling you, once you are in that high vibration, you will attract like-minded people in the high vibration. It's almost like a VIP club. Like, you can't get into the high vibration club where these successful, high earning, healed men are, because you haven't done the work to get there. Like, you got to stay in a low vibrational club. Okay. So I'm telling you, just do the work. Believe in divine timing, and I promise you it will work. If you want more content in regards to that, let me know. I'll be happy to talk about it. But let me know what y'all think about this story in this video. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next one.